And welcome to the latest anime news for the week ending June 12th, 2021. Let us get into it, shall we? Oh boy, we got some stuff to talk about this week. An anime film was announced this week based on a property that probably no one ever expected to get an anime. Warner Brothers Animation and New Line Cinema reveals on Thursday that Kenji Kamiyama of Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and Blade Runner Black Lotus and Eden of the East fame will direct a new anime feature film set in the world of J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. That's right.
Really?
Yeah. An original anime story based on Lord of the Rings.
Do we not learn from Peter Jackson?
But Peter Jackson was adapting an existing thing. This is something completely new. Who knows where it could go?
Could go like the 1978 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that. Oh.
The film will be titled Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, and will depict, they say, a legendary battle that helped shape Middle-earth and set the stage for Lord of the Rings itself.
Oh my God, that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Helm Hammerhand, King of Rohan,
Right.
that whole thing.
Wow.
And the screenplay will be written by Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
Wow.
Which, if you've seen that, you know that's a pretty densely plotted series. Like, they thought that through. And Blade Runner Black Lotus's Joseph Cho will serve as producer. And Philippa Boyens, who's a part of the screenwriting team on both the original live-action Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit film trilogies, is also consulting on the project.
Ooh. Hopefully that'll give it good continuity, please.
I don't know if it needs any.
It doesn't. It's battles that it's like basically a prequel to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the battle is very important.
Yeah.
In
But I mean,
lore.
your entire space that you're operating this in, I'm hoping that's where, like, it's not going to be anything weirdly like we're fighting in the jungle. Be like, what?
I doubt
nothing of Middle Earth looked jungly.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, continuity, please. That everything else makes sense. We can focus on the good stuff.
Sauron the Mecha.
I would watch that. I would so watch that. Oh, give it to me, please. So here's my question. Do we feel like this is part of a desire to bring Lord of the Rings back, in the sense that, we have the Amazon show coming soon? Is this kind of part of that whole push? Or is it is it more of, hey, we have this franchise, we have somebody who's interested in doing something, we have money, let's connect people together? What do you think is the driver for this particular story right now?
Well, I think certainly if you make it and you make it well, that you'll have people who will not only buy into this, but they will also go back and buy into the rest of the franchise to see whether there's anything that makes any kind of thread connections.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that it's been a number of years, so that you can sort of kick more life into this, and that you can get some new fans brought on board.
Yeah. Point.
Older people will be like, "Oh, you guys haven't seen that yet? You like the anime? Hey, have you seen any of Peter Jackson stuff?" They're like, oh, "Okay."
Which, let's forget, is 20 years
Let me show you a Ralph Bakshi film.
Right.
What?
Oh, Jesus.
A Hobbit.
That thing.
Want to see that?
Oh, God, that thing. To me, it's like it almost sounds like an isekai without being an isekai.
Oh, it's a good point. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And it's something that doesn't and if it sucks, it's not something that damages the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but I think it's a great use of lore.
True.
Of the canon and the lore of the Hobbit. And
Find
the
a big
Rings,
battle,
and
animate that.
Yeah. Make the hell out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like John said, connect the dots between the generations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's interesting to me is the budget needed for something like this.
Yeah.
Tolkien very intentionally was writing big set piece stories, right? Big epic stories. Because he's Beowulf was his big thing, and there's all these, and obviously Beowulf doesn't have a lot of giant set piece battles, but anyway. And when you think War of the Rohirrim, you think giant battles involving, thousands and tens of thousands of people, which is expensive and not something that anime is known for doing, as anime has generally not had huge budgets for fantasy films, right?
I just got the fear assess this for this. I just got that fear for that.
Oh no, it's gonna be done in the 4-Koma style. It's gonna be
I love it.
Oh,
No,
oh my, no.
Lord of the Rings slice of life anime.
Literally.
Awesome.
Everyone's super deformed. Should be characters, just sort of walking around,
Clanking around in armor with their little stubby arms.
I would watch the heck out of that. Jay asked a good question. What would be better, this or Lord of the Rings on Ice?
Oh my God, Lord of the Rings on Ice. Come on.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings on Ice would be funny as hell.
Can you just have the orc? You know what we need to have on Ice is the orcs doing the orc song from the Brown Plague.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Oh.
Where there's a whip,
But
there's
a
a
way.
Yeah, somebody throw some money at Ice Capades for that. I'm totally up for that. Moving on, we'll have to see where that goes. This is kind of interesting. From June 25th to 27th, Heritage Auctions will be holding the Art of Anime and Everything Cool auction, interesting name, which they claim is the first auction held by a major U.S. auction house to focus on anime art materials. Its director of animation art described the auction saying that, quote, with 928 lots, this will be the world's largest auction to feature top-grade anime, manga, and even some classic American animation, end quote. The auction will also feature selections from photographer and film producer Mike Glad's Glad Anime Museum collection, which is over 300 pieces and amassed across more than 30 years. It includes art from Astro Boy, Ghibli films, Akira, other notable anime works, kind of the typical things you'd expect, and has showed up in museums at various spots. Heritage Auctions has posted samples of some of the artwork to be auctioned on their YouTube channel, and the collection will be available for in-person viewing by appointment only on the day before the auction. However, the full collection is already up for proxy bidding on the website. For those who want to check out everything that is available or put in their own secret maximum bid, which will compete against the live bids during the actual event.
Wow.
Let me go check my Bitcoin stuff.
Live bidding will officially also be available worldwide on the appointed date on the live floor through, and because it's auctions, the phone, online, mail, and fax.
God.
Mail.
Yes.
So like 2 weeks later, after the bidding's all done, hey, we got somebody in the mail who outbid the last guy. You're terrible.
I think more like proxies can come in ahead of time and so forth. But yeah. So this is interesting because I think you see, certainly, 30, 40 years ago, you'd never have seen this. Auction houses would not have touched anime art with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
But
well, they would sell collections. It would not be a specifically anime art thing. So if you happen to have something in a collection, it would have gone up, a lot bid for that. But yeah, this is extremely unusual for just this art of anime and everything cool.
Which is kind of an interesting title.
Yeah.
Not quite sure where they went there. Do be aware, if you look up Mike Glad, he is a collector. I checked his website. His website is clearly written by somebody else. And I actually want to pull it up here real quick. Because you pull it up about me, information and so forth, but then you scroll down and he has a thing about his collection. Let's see here. Where was it? It explains things. Anime is a style of animation developed and made popular by artists and producers in Japan. The most well-known anime productions include Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, and the source material for Ghost in the Shell.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of odd.
Interesting phrasing.
Osamu Tezuka was contacted by Mike Glad, who sent him 2 pieces from the seminal Astro Boy series, as well as a print from Phonics. Not Phoenix.
Phonics.
Phonix.
Oh, hooked on phonics.
Yes.
I didn't even know Tezuka worked on that.
Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah. This sounds like Mike Glad kind of dictating to somebody who then built the website. I don't know. But definitely a collector. Definitely, real stuff. Just maybe not pay that close attention to whoever threw his website together. But yeah, that's a pretty big auction, and the fact that it's open worldwide to anyone is pretty exciting, considering what might be on offer. I don't know, what is a serious collectible that one of you guys would want, like something that would show up at auction?
Gosh.
Jeez. What have I got room for? That's the first question I have to ask.
Yeah.
I got walls. I can hang things on walls.
For me, the one thing I would go for is like an Astro Boy cell. Like a cell from the 1963 Astro Boy series that started it all. Like, I would go for that.
I still say a Yamato ship hanging from my ceiling.
Sure. Yep.
I was gonna say a cell from Space Battleship Yamato.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a cell of the full rendering of the SDF-1 in orbit with the Earth behind it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wesley's with you there. Anything from You Remember Love? Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I would. You know what? Actually, I would love to have a Lupin the Third cell from Cascadillo, from the movie
Cagliostro.
Cagliostro.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'd love to have that.
I would also love. I would pay for Miyazaki, like, production art, like not cells, like the stuff he drew to conceive the movie. That would be amazing.
Ooh, an artist notebook.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, his notebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pick up milk and create Spirited Away.
Speaking of which, if you want a very interesting experience, find the book. It's available in English. The First Princess Mononoke. The First Princess Mononoke. Let me see if I can find it. Princess Mononoke, the first story. I believe that is it. It is the essentially the storyboard. Yep. Which is Hayao Miyazaki's original draft, his first draft for Princess Mononoke.
Oh, wow.
It involves the cover art shows a maybe like a 12-year-old girl with a straw hat on top of a cat that looks like Totoro. Yeah. That's a story that evolved.
Yeah.
It's
joke.
Nothing like Princess Mononoke. There are a few like themes that kind of come back through, but it was basically like a Totoro sequel. It's just this completely different headspace than what the movie turned into. Fascinating.
Yeah, no joke.
So yeah.
Big fierce wolves? No, cute fluffy Totoro things.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Oh, just think of the concept: shooting nice Totoros.
Yeah.
Balls.
Yeah.
Or how about nice Totoros like attacking people viciously? Like, wow.
Well, there's that trailer that turned Totoro into a horror movie, right? You can do that with it.
Totoro, the god of death.
So yeah, I mean, might be fun to look over just to see what's there. Obviously, at an auction like this, prices will not be low. But
I'm looking for the $25 to $50. Anything in there?
Yeah, good luck on that.
Yeah, we could send you a free coaster from the auction.
Yeah,
for $25. Oh, shipping and handling. Oh, okay, cool.
Used.
Used.
Yeah. Yeah, Tenchi stuff is pretty. I mean, I have cells from the original Tenchi Muyo OVA, so that's not as hard to find these days, or it wasn't. But anyway. Moving along, Netflix held its Geeked Week event this week and revealed during its stream on Tuesday that the live-action Cowboy Bebop adaptation will premiere this fall. The announcement also confirmed that Yoko Kanno also composed the music for the live-action series. And they posted a teaser video revealing Yoko Kanno's involvement in the series on Twitter, which featured the main cast enjoying Tank, stating, "There is no Bebop without Yoko." Which,
wow.
Gotta love
Yeah.
that. So it's, people love to spit on Netflix and their adaptations and say they can't possibly be any good. And I think one must keep one's expectations held in on any adaptation, right? Never expect the adaptation to be exactly like the original. What does that series need to do right?
Everything.
That's the problem. And that's exactly my problem. Is if folks are going to go in there,
it's-
they're going to go on it shot by shot, frame by frame, and say the camera isn't in the same angle, so it sucks. And that's what worries me.
It totally blows the immersion.
Right.
Well, one of the things that made me more happier about it, because Netflix really, I to this day, I loathe Netflix for its rendition of Death Note. That was just so bad and so horrible.
I had heard that.
Funny. It was. When Light sees Ryuk for the first time, he screams like the little girl.
Right.
It's just really, really bad. And L is just like some emo kid. In the anime, he looks like an emo kid, but he's like functional.
All right.
But it's just bad. It's just bad. Anyway, so for Cowboy Bebop, the first step by putting the music in there is key, because the music is pretty key to the anime, and actually directed the anime. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. One of the concerns that I've read and that I have is that one of the things about Cowboy Bebop is that it was episodic, but it had the overarching storyline. So that you got bits and pieces as you went along the storyline, and everyone's stories comes together, and you get this nice package at the end of it, which is not neat, but it's good.
Yeah.
And so people are wondering, is this going to be something along those lines? Is it going to be like Cowboy Bebop the movie, which is a specific case that's going to happen? That kind of thing. So, if it's a specific kind of case, then there's kind of hope with people who like me, who are big fans of Bebop. You don't have to worry about them going, "Oh, you didn't do." Oh, wait, it's not the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the same thing. But if you're trying to do the series, though, that's going to be really hard, because some of the episodes are just so expansive.
Yeah. And from what I've heard, and this may have changed, they were not planning to go back and remake the episodes. This is going to be, originally written stories, but and it's going to be those characters doing that. I think they said that they might use certain plot lines, so it would be kind of like this episode, right? But they were going to do it in their own way, for exactly that reason, is because you can't copy it, really.
Yeah, I can see them introducing characters, doing nods to other characters.
Sure.
Right.
Like Pierre LeFou. But you can't redo the episode of Pierre LeFou, which is, just amazing. I mean, it's the first time you see Spike getting his butt kicked,
right?
Temporarily. But
I'm hopeful. Somewhere in the back of my head is this terrible Sci-Fi Channel movie of the week, where it's I hope that scripts are obviously solid, but if they're going to try to integrate things like Spike and the swordfish flying, or Faye flying, and they're please,
get it right, spend the money.
Don't make it super terrible, where it's just a person obviously seated on an office chair,
well, I
think
think
make them fly through space.
Babylon 5 kind of CGI.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Just visually, visually, that's all I'm asking. I want a solid story and visually, together.
Okay. Also this week, other stories that we may want to mention in passing, not necessarily dig into in any huge way, which for some reason is really weirdly structured. 1 second while I shift around this, because my gosh, it is hard to see us for some reason on this particular view. There we go. Just shifting things around a little bit so we're We're better. There we go. Netflix also made a number of anime announcements during their event this week, so buckle up for all the new info. First up, the service will stream a new space horror anime series titled Exception, which is based on a new story by a Japanese horror novelist and film director named Hirotaka Adachi. Character designs by the series will be done by Yoshitaka Amano of Final Fantasy fame. So that is interesting. The story takes place in a distant future where folks are leaving Earth and moving into a different galaxy. They also have 2 upcoming anime films. Bright Samurai Soul is a spin-off of the 2017 live-action Bright film starring Will Smith. The story, I have to quote this, quote, Izo, a Ronin, and Raiden, an orc, work to bring a young elf girl and the wand she carries to the land of the elves in the north, end quote. Now that's a spin-off of Bright. Wow.
Wow. Did Bright need a spin-off?
Maybe.
I don't know. It was certainly controversial. It certainly got people talking.
Yeah.
Wow.
The other new anime film is called Make My Day. It's an adaptation of original story by the creator of Moonlight Mile and Gundam Thunderbolt. It takes place on an icy planet where mysterious creatures appear. They also announced it will exclusively stream the upcoming Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway film beginning on July 1st. And that it'll begin streaming the new Shaman King anime on August 9th.
Oh.
Publisher Katakawa, TMS, and Sammy Corporation has revealed a new poker-themed multimedia project this week titled High Card. It'll include anime, manga, and novels. Author Homura Kawamoto and his younger brother are known for the Kakagurui gambling franchise, and they're credited with the original work. So they'll be involved in that. Shonen Gangan magazine revealed this week that Imari Arita's The Company Slave Wants to Be Healed by a Little Ghost Girl manga is getting an anime adaptation, and the story is exactly that. That's the concept. Corporate drone, little ghost girl.
Yeah, I saw the announcement of that. I was like, okay. I find it interesting that Katakawa, TMS, and Sammy are doing a poker thing now.
Yeah.
Kakegurui was funky cool, but didn't the whole poker thing, like the World Championship poker stuff, wasn't that like a solid 10 years ago? The poker gaming kind of stuff was like big mainstream.
I mean, I think it's still
Feels
fairly
like
mainstream.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
people
I
still
mean,
play.
again, I don't have cable anymore.
Right,
but I
yeah.
remember that for a while there was like the World National Championship, blah blah blah, poker.
It's
blah.
certainly not as big as it was, but I think it's still around. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right in that the peak has passed. I wonder, but then I don't know what poker is like in Japan. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
It may be it is having a comeback or something. I don't know.
Or maybe our Vegas live streaming 24/7 poker games. Maybe our time has peaked and it's just starting on their side. So that easily could be.
Yeah. Who knows? Good question. A new mini anime has been greenlit for Broccoli's mascot franchise, DigiCarrot. So folks of a certain generation remember DigiCarrot. Green-haired anime girl. She's the mascot of gamers anime stores. The new anime is the first part of the Reiwa no DigiCarrot project, which marks the franchise's 24th anniversary next year, and also celebrating the current Japanese Reiwa era. The mini anime will feature returning familiar characters, as well as a new one, Bushi-chan, which is, of course, Bushiroad's guardian deity who enjoys food and pro wrestling. So look forward to that.
Awesome.
It will be cute. Whatever happens,
no doubt.
It'll be cute. It was also revealed this week. We were waiting for it. We knew it would happen. It's finally happened. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time is getting a new version. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01, which will contain minor revisions to some animation sequences, but won't change the story at all. They promise.
I'm sorry.
New version will be screening in theaters today for the film's last run in this, this run, not like forever. Theaters also began handing out the EVA Extra Extra pamphlet at screenings today, which contains a manga by staff featuring a previously untold account leading up to the third film.
Wow.
Yeah. How do you get folks in to keep watching the EVA film? This is how. This is exactly how. This is the way to do it.
Merch.
Is, and it's been showing in theaters. Oh, there's a slightly new version. Might want to check that out. You might want to come back in. Just FYI, there's a pamphlet. Get your pamphlet.
There's 5 additional seconds you didn't see before.
Exactly, yeah.
I just love that it's like an OS update for your phone. It's like, this new EVA won't run on your platform unless you get EVA 1.01.
If they have patch notes in that manga, I would be so happy.
That would be great. We ran some security protocols to limit some vulnerabilities that were as a result of the first version of the film. Oh, thank God.
At 3801, the positioning of the shoe has been slightly adjusted so that it's facing the right direction.
It's now green as opposed to red.
The sound of Shinji getting slapped is 0.2 seconds too early for the actual slap.
Yeah.
So it has been adjusted.
And here's the thing. It's probably like exactly that stuff. Is it going back and going, shoot, this thing's a little bit off, changing things around. I may have mentioned this before, quick aside. When they went back in to do the Serial Experiments Lane remaster and tweak everything, they went back in and just the director, the producer, and the I think the lead animator sat down and just rewatched Lane all the way through, taking notes, and discovered all these things. And there is a moment in Lane where Lane is standing outside her house, but she's wearing her indoor slippers. And people had talked about that as being, what does that mean? What's the symbolism of that? That she's like kind of inside but outside at the same time. And they're like, no, we forgot. And so...
Can you imagine that? That forum that went on for years.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's like whole blogs just based on her shoes. Like,
and so they just went back and repainted in the correct shoes on her feet now. So it's what it should be. It's like Hideaki Anno, director of EVA, speaking of, is also getting a special exhibition celebrating his career. The Hideaki Anno exhibition will take place at the National Art Center in Tokyo, October through December, and will feature pre-production material, handwritten memos, sketches, miniatures, and more. 2 online exhibitions also began this week. The Isekai Museum launched the first part of its free online version last weekend. Yes, we've gotten there. Isekai is that big that we now have a museum. It features storyboards, key animation, and artwork from 4 favorite Isekai series. The exhibit opened with an Overlord section, featuring more than 2,000 pieces of artwork. Konosuba content releases today. ReZero on the 19th. The Saga of Tanya the Evil on the 26th. This was made for you, John.
Yeah, and like all me.
Exactly. And a Secret Room opening on July 3rd. The exhibition can be accessed through the website on PC, smartphones, or VR. No registration required. Pretty good.
I know what I have to be doing later on.
Exactly. The final volume of the Attack on Titan manga released this week, and a number of celebrations have taken place in person and online, including an online exhibition looking back at its history and a character creator where you can create your own Survey Corps members. Pretty cool idea. Finally, I just had to mention this one. Virtual YouTuber agency HoloLive's HoloLive Alternative Project launched a manga on Twitter this week. Now, I want you to think of who would be the perfect mangaka for a virtual YouTuber manga, right? When you think of somebody's oeuvre, the kind of person who makes manga, who would be the best person to draw that manga? Now, I want you to imagine the exact opposite, because that's right. It'll feature artwork from Kosuke Kurose, the maker of Goblin Slayer.
I liked Goblin Slayer.
But content. So
dear.
the Hololive manga, available in both Japanese and English, is titled Hollow Earth Chronicles Side E Yamato Fantasia. It tells an original story based on the project's world. The whole reason I'm doing this is because Kurose put out a comment saying, I am doing this alongside the Goblin Slayer serialization, and my first priority is to make it safe for work. So, first episode of Goblin Slayer?
Yeah, I know, but like, what a curious statement. My first priority is make it safe for work. Okay.
Because I suspect that's everyone's first question.
Yeah. Are you going to make this just like you did Goblin Slayer? Like, once you get over the first episode, it gets better.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is an odd thing. And again, to be clear, great art style in Goblin Slayer, nothing against that. It's just reputation is a thing. And that it's an interesting choice.
Well, you are certainly going to draw a lot of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when it finally drops, people are going to be like, okay, let's see what we got.
Yep.
So that'll get sales right there. Just
absolutely.
Curiosity.
Yep.
Interesting.
That might be what they're doing. Who knows?
I hope safe for work doesn't mean boring. Please don't be boring.
No, that's not what safe for work means. Ghibli safe for work.
Okay, good, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I was, thinking in context of like Goblin Slayer, if you make it safe, it'd be less it'd be more boring. It'd be less interesting. Goblin Slayer was quite a ride.
Okay. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
Quite a ride.
Okay. Interesting. That is it. That is the news for the week. And so we will be back next week with more news. Actually, with quite a lot next week.